Disclaimer, this series revolves around criticizing things, and the fact that I'm doing that doesn't necessarily mean I dislike the thing. Thank you. Click below to watch the original Sins video, or to buy Wreck-It Ralph.
My name's Ralph.
Narralfation.
Geration? Narration? Portmanteaus can be fun in small doses, but you need to be careful not to develop an over-reliance on them for comedy, or they'll have a strong chance to quickly wear thin. Asian? Also, my man, this isn't even narration. Ralph is just introducing himself to his support group.
I'm gonna wreck it!
This is exactly what I used to yell at my college girlfriend shortly before ruining sex.
Cool.
If he was a regular carpenter, you would not be able to fix the damage that I do as quickly.
Wreck-It Ralph would be amazing at CinemaSins.
Fix-It Felix's hammer is magic. So all Ralph really did was just point out something that is technically true. He made a simple observation. You know what? Ironically, I think he might be right. I think he would be good at CinemaSins.
Also, if you look closely, the Fix-It Felix game apparently only has one level. There's apparently nowhere to go after this.
Ever played Pac-Man? There are more ways to continue a game than changing the scenery, which is especially common in arcade games.
All clear! The arcade's closed!
I see you got some Toy Story in my Wreck-It Ralph. Once again, there's virtually no way these game characters could do this unseen.
Well, they very clearly only come out when the arcade is closed, so I could believe that they never get seen. But that's besides the point, because I don't even have to believe that. It's established in this film that all that happens to a game if it's seen behaving strangely is an out of order sticker is put on it. Then they get a guy in to fix it and test the game again before throwing it out. If it works, they don't throw it out. This would give the video game characters ample time to actually get back to where they're supposed to be, so nothing bad actually happens. Basically, there's no reason for us to believe the video game characters never have been spotted. The real sin here is that this arcade owner leaves his machines on overnight for some reason.
So they were all in the Pac-Man game for that Bad-Anon meeting, but in just a few moments everyone's gonna act like going into a game not your own, aka game jumping, is a bad thing. But clearly the act itself is okay if the circumstances are right.
Yes, the act itself is okay if the circumstances are right. Those circumstances are, if the arcade is closed, it's fine, and if it's open, it's not. This is made explicitly clear. There's even a scene in the Fix-It Felix game where all the other characters from the game are worried that Ralph hasn't got back in time, and then start worrying that he's gone turbo.
Because if you die outside your own game, you don't regenerate.
I have no doubt about this, but it does raise this question. There are multiple copies of these arcade games all around the world, right? There are thousands of other Wreck-It Ralphs, Pac-Mans, etc. And did they all go through existential crises?
In no way did that raise this question. Which, by the way, that question was the ultimate, this is not a sin, this is a question. Jeremy must learn the difference between questions and sins. It's literally just like, yeah, this movie is cool and all, but what I really want to know about is things that are relevant to its story and happening off screen. Why doesn't the movie spend more time on that?
The Nicelanders know how to party. They even got Skrillex. But I'm still left wondering, why are there so many of them? There are a finite number of windows in the Felix game, and way more citizens here at this party than windows. Granted, there's half a boiled egg and a piece of bacon at this dance, so maybe we've got some cross-game celebrating going on here.
Really, do you maybe get the impression that there's some cross-game celebrating going on here? Did the bacon and eggs give it away? Because, you know, to me, if anything was going to give that away, it would be this.
Pac-Man? They invented Pac-Man?
Oh, Jeremy, with your detective work, thank God you spotted the bacon and eggs in the background. How else could we possibly have known that there were characters from multiple games invited to this party?
Maybe we've got some cross-game celebrating going on here, which I would then sin for just being more game jumping being casually overlooked by a movie that screams about how bad game jumping is.
Nope.
You're just the bad guy who wrecks the building.
Again, what are all these people pissed about? Are they the only video game characters who don't know they're in a game? Do they really live their lives inside this machine and get upset when Ralph comes in to wreck their home? Do they not realize that it all goes back to normal once the game is over? What the f*** is with these assholes?
Well, let's see, shall we? In this scene, Ralph accidentally wrecks various parts of their room and destroys their cake. So, you know, maybe these assholes have learned from experience? I'm not saying they're right to be dicks about it. Just maybe this isn't completely baseless. Oh, and that clip you used was completely taken out of context. The full sentence wasn't something like, I don't like you because you're just the bad guy who wrecks the building. The full sentence was, you're never going to win a medal because you're just the bad guy who wrecks the building. Which is something completely different.
Oh, come on, Zangief.
This is the lost and found inside the Tapper machine. If you lose your life outside of the game, you don't regenerate. But apparently you can lose your at Tapper's place and just get it right back.
Yes. Because, you know, dying and losing your underwear aren't equivalent. The underpants weren't killed, Dick Splash. They were misplaced. You know how in real life we have lost and founds, and in real life people can also die without regenerating? The same logic applies here.
Mother Hubbard?
Yep, there were two big budget movies in 2012 that made weird Mother Hubbard references. This and The Amazing Spider-Man. How did that even happen?
This movie, that movie. What? I feel like I'm allowed to say it once in a while, right? I mean, it's been a month since I've even made a video on CinemaSins. excluding the parody.
What a ripoff.
I guess this is our first time playing this game? Good thing, too, because what if a Heroes Duty expert was playing right now? Wouldn't that person report this strange, bizarre weirdness?
But players who play things only once are very common. This isn't exactly a plot contrivance. It's like, yeah, why would the movie not have a Heroes Duty expert playing here? Is it maybe because it's completely believable that there wouldn't be one playing here, and also if they did have one playing here, it would complicate the film unnecessarily? You know what? I think that might have something to do with it.
Where's Ralph? He should be wrecking the building.
Okay, so now you're telling me that the innocent apartment dwellers do know Ralph is supposed to wreck the building and that's his job, because you can't have these same characters pissed off when he doesn't do it.
Yes, how unreasonable of them. First they get mad at him for wrecking their house when he's not supposed to, and now they're getting mad at him for not wrecking the house when he is supposed to. It's almost as if they want him to be doing the things that he's supposed to be doing.
Now it's my.
Say it, chump!
Let the record show that in Ralph's defense, Vanellope was pretty much a selfish jerk to him right from the start. Yes, she does want a gold coin so she can race, but stealing is stealing.
Yes, that is why these characters don't like each other. Well done for noticing what's happening in the film.
Cybugs will chew up that game faster than a chicken hawk in a coop of crippled roosters.
Forced simile aside, no, you're wrong. It takes f***ing ages for the Cybugs to become an actual threat in Sugar Rush.
Yes, but once they're a threat, it takes them almost no time at all to actually destroy Sugar Rush. That's an equally valid interpretation of what she's saying, and since it's accurate, let's go with that one, shall we?
She's programmed with the most tragic backstory ever.
If the program is aware of the fact that it's a program and its actions are dictated by the code, isn't that the definition of AI?
No. They were AI when they were conscious, free-thinking beings. Them being aware of stuff like this muddies the waters in a couple of ways, but that's not one of them. Also, even if this was the definition of AI, that would be fine. That would just mean that now they were AI. This one is weird, honestly. Jeremy mentions this a lot. Every time Jeremy sees robots or computers making decisions for themselves, he's like, is this AI? And then he adds a sin for it. And I'm like, what have you got against AI? Why do you hate AI so much?
You die outside your game, you don't regenerate.
You keep telling us that, but we haven't seen it once.
Okay. And
There's no way that I am racing with a glitch.
That's glitchist.
that's the pointist.
Okay, that's some funny shit right there.
Really? Okay? I mean, you're allowed to enjoy whatever you want, so go for it. I'm just surprised. You, of all people, are removing a sin for one of the most product placement-y things I've ever seen. Okay, man. Go for it.
Fungeon?
Fun dungeon. You know, it's a play on words.
In a candy-based race game, though? Wouldn't a sweets-based jail pun make more sense? Like the pecan can? Or the gel cell? Or the Twinkie Clinky?
You see, film, Jeremy takes portmanteaus very seriously. Do not disrespect his art.
Statue of Liberty. Zomjectification. Fire shadowing. Drakatui. Insects. Vampirver. Bare bones humor. I call bingo shenanigans. Shenanigans?
And that was all just from the first few minutes of his Hotel Transylvania video.
I'll just magically win the race just because I really want to.
Look, wise guy, I know I'm a racer. I can feel it in my code.
She's right, of course. And unfortunately, because in the context of what has happened so far to this point, Ralph is also right.
So, this is a sin for the fact that both characters are acting logically based on the information they have? Would you not say that that's good writing? Would you prefer it if one of them was being completely irrational and that's where the conflict was coming from? Are you one of those people who thinks Holdo is a really good character?
I think it's some sort of unfinished bonus level.
That they just left in the game? So the programmers of Sugar Rush were planning some sugar-free bonus level and decided not to include it at the last minute, but just left the code sitting there?
Yeah, man. This is plenty realistic. You can see unused assets sitting in the back of games all the time. This shit happens.
I'm removing a sin here, but only because somebody is cutting onions nearby and is probably doing so for good intentions. I'm really not okay about it, but I still recognize the quality storytelling and emotional beats of the fact that sometimes dishes need onions.
Yep, this scene was genuinely hard to watch. And I mean that in the best of possible ways.
He literally locked up our memories.
This movie yada yada's computer code worse than the 90s film Hackers did.
The film about arcade characters being alive when no one is playing the games? You're saying it has a dumbed-down, child-friendly version of code? Wow, that's totally the wrong decision to make for this kind of movie. How out of place it feels.
Without a beacon, there's no way to stop these monsters.
Beacon.
Let me borrow that thing, lady.
Is Ralph going to tell Calhoun what he plans to do here? And maybe they should set a timetable in case they need to blow the exit? Oh, too late, he's gone.
Yeah, sure, seems like there's time for that.
Also, Agent Smith Mutt movie. Just the fact that he's the villain and he's code that has grown too strong inside a computer, that would be enough.
Okay, let's actually talk about the comparison between Turbo and Agent Smith. Both made a code, yep, but so is every other damn character in this movie, so it would be pretty weird if the villain wasn't made of code. Then you've got the fact that he's a villain, Yep, movies have villains. Moving on. He's code that's grown too strong in a computer. Yep, the villain has to be strong or there's not really conflict. And the whole movie takes place in the computer, so where else is he going to grow strong? Basically, the only similarity so far is that they are in computers and they are villains. And apparently that would be enough. But let's see what else there is on top of that.
But there's also the parallel of inexplicable existence and powers. Agent Smith just refused to die, according to the sequels, so he got to stay in or come back to the Matrix. Only now he's got duplication superpowers? The f*** is that all about?
Okay, it's the fact that they are persistent and powerful. You know what, I feel like I'm fairly safe in saying that these characters are not similar enough to constitute rip-off status. In fact, they're barely comparable enough to constitute vague similarity status.
After all the destruction and the violence and death and that race ending abruptly, this should probably not work, right?
But why? So, the sin total was 35, and I'm still looking for something else to do instead of punishments. I don't know, if you have any ideas, maybe leave them in the comments, that'd be cool. Other than that, I was about to do a quicker review, and then I realised it's fucking Wednesday instead of Tuesday like I thought, and I have to upload this today, and it's 11 o'clock, so fuck. Yeah, I'm not going to make any more of this video. I also got a few suggestions for this that are supposed to be going at the start, but yeah, I don't have time to put those there now. I've got to get this out now. So just thanks if you suggested this. All of the suggestions coming in fast is a great way to let me know what you guys want. Also, thanks to the 3 separate people who submitted scripts for this, it really does help. So thank you very much, Boy Thunder Productions, Hoovian103, and Josh McKeown? McKeown? I don't know how to say your name. Thanks though. I hope you have enjoyed this several hours late. As usual, actually, I've been late a few times recently. I'll see you on Sunday, probably for a video about video game movies. I think a few of you out there probably know what I'm planning on responding to. And that's everything. So, a goodbye. Well, I was not planning on this, sudden panic upload frenzy.